Ladies and gentlemen, it's a Saturday night. You know what that means. Hot Tag's back in action. There's a new face here. There's a familiar face here. And then we got Teddy. But Teddy's always here. He's my co-host. That's what we do. We hang out on Saturday nights. We talk about wrestling. Okay? Our Hot Tag turned into a faction really fast. Okay? We got Zach. You guys know Zach. Zach sent Teddy a photo for when when he's famous. That is, I look at it every show, and it's one of my favorite things. Like, just to remember that that's there, it's amazing. And, not to leave him out, the newest face, this man's been watching wrestling since the state police were knocking on Goldberg's door, saying, let's get it, let's get out to the ring, and the fireworks were going. This man's a WCW loyalist. He stood with them through the times when most people were flocking to WWF. People were watching Mankind. Garrett was watching Monday Nitro. He was loyal. Garrett, we'll start with you. How we doing, man?
I am so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. Can't wait to talk everything WWE, and hopefully if you let me talk a little WCW, I would love that as well.
Always. Zach, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Thank you for having me back. As always, I'm hoping that tonight will get me really excited for our trip to WrestleMania. And of course, for anyone out there listening, if you would like to come meet and greet with me and Teddy walking the streets of LA next weekend, feel free. Gladly take photos, autographs for only $30 a piece.
That's a deal, honestly.
That's a deal.
Teddy, not to leave you out, you are my co-host. You're here every week. I care about you. How you doing?
I'm feeling it, Shake. I'm here. We got Garrett. Garrett's a good friend. We got Zach. Zach's a great friend. You know what? And as Zach mentioned, we're going to WrestleMania. All right? Hey, for all you fans that have been watching, like you said, if you want to come and stop by and get a picture with us on the street, I charge $0. Zach's just a little, he's hard to come
He's
by.
a diva.
He's got that $30 charge. Me, you can just say, hey, what's up? That's it. But guys, how are we feeling? Wrestling is good right now. Wrestling is good. We got a good card going into WrestleMania, and I'm feeling it. I said to Shake, he called me. He was so excited about SmackDown that he called me to talk about something. And I said to him, you know what? Not one, but at least two storylines going into this WrestleMania have had me jump out of my seat while watching the show going, oh my God. So, I mean, this is a great time to be a fan right now. And it's funny because there are some things we said, oh, they could win a different way with the card, but yet we're still vibing with the card. We're still feeling it. So I know Shake and I can talk. We can go. So I want to give us some room for Zach and Garrett to talk. So Garrett, what's your first impressions on this Road to WrestleMania?
I would say this is the most excited I've been for a main card in a long time, and I've always been really appreciative of the storytelling, and I love the long game that they're playing right now, and I'm excited for the payoff. And I think not to look past it, but it looks like the payoff is going to be huge, and that there's already things in the works for after that. So it's great because it's going to close the book. It's going to close the chapter of one book, and it's going to open up something else. I can't remember being this excited for something wrestling related in a long time.
Well, I see why. I mean, you were a fan of WCW, so there wasn't much to be excited about.
You guys were little kids, right, when Goldberg was 198 and 0. Okay, that was true storytelling. Okay,
when he was only actually probably like 50 and 0, but
he would go from 100. He would go from 101 and 0, and the next Nitro would be 135 and 0. We didn't know how it happened. he was wrestling 3 times a day at house shows, but it was captivating.
Zach, reel us in. What you thinking, man?
I will say, to counter or to back up what he said, I do remember being excited as a kid sitting on the edge of my bed watching Nitro for a little bit until I had to switch over to Monday Night Raw. But I am excited. As you guys know, I do not watch every week. I try to keep up with everything that I can, but there is genuinely this time around a lot of stuff that I am excited to like watch and follow and see live, and I am very excited about this show. There's definitely some stuff, as I think there is every year, that they could cut out, and that that's like a bathroom break. But at the same time, I think it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, Teddy and I mentioned the bathroom break matches almost every single week. Right now, I think we're at 3. Both showcase matches and Omos versus Lesnar were counting as bathroom matches. I think we're up to 3 now. Maybe
unless
4.
Unless you got a quick pee, you're not going to be able to get that bathroom break in during Omos and Brock, because that's going to be about
6 minutes tops.
including entrances.
You think I'm joking? That's what Bobby and Omos was last year. It was like 6:30.
You're not wrong.
And Bobby can go longer than Brock, so I'm 6 minutes tops. That's entrance and all.
Listen, if you're trying to bet, the side bet of the card is how many finishers in that match.
That's a finisher fest. Oh, I think
We don't even know what Omos' finisher is.
It's that 2-handed choke slam, is it not?
I think that's what it is. I seen him have a really ugly one on Mustafa Ali the other day, and I was like, ooh. It was a rough looking one.
Well, that's what. Okay, so let's get into Omos conversation, because apparently I was not a huge fan, and on Twitter I was called an homophobe. So it's unbelievable out here. Like, I get it, you can't disrespect it, because he obviously has a huge following, coming from whatever promotion he came from. He's here for a reason, right? I said that before, but God, man, like. I said it to Teddy last week. I was upset when I cared about this match because Brock looked shook. I was like, I know it's going to underperform. And we were talking about Bobby versus Omos last year. It's not going to be any different. You want to say over-under on finishers? Brock probably hits 2 or 3 F5s, a spear. Maybe he suplexes him once. I don't see a lot of suplexes on Omos, to be honest with you. But I don't even know who's going to win. I guess that's the interesting thing. I have no idea who's going to win.
Let me just ask one quick question. When in the hell have you ever seen Brock Lesnar spear somebody?
There's a first time for everything, dude.
Like a spear, and I was like, a spear? But
that's how ugly it's going to be. It'll probably be a running tackle that looks like a spear. I mean, what?
I think Omos goes over, and I think 100%. We get 1 F5. I think this is if you really want to do it, you put Omos over, because you know who's high on Omos is The Undertaker. And he really thinks he should be treated like Andre and like a spectacle. He's like, he shouldn't be on every show. He should just be on like the big show. I think he should. I think he should be a mid-card legend and just squash people or have good matches. Okay, I'm sorry. Just squash people.
Win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Like I think he should definitively pin Brock Lesnar. I mean, boom, put him through the damn mat and put his foot on his chest and pin him. That's how I think it should go down.
Yeah. I mean,
it's the only way. Yeah. It's the only way.
That would be the right move, I feel like, because what does Brock winning do for him? Absolutely nothing. What does losing do for him? Absolutely nothing. Like, when that guitar hits, we're still going to react the same whether he wins or loses. We get hyped. That's what it is.
I mean, we've seen Brock Lesnar get beat in 5 minutes, and we still think he
give a damn.
Anybody at any time. Like, if you said he could still win the championship at any time, and we've seen him. Like, we won't see, like, if Cody wins the championship and you're like, all right, it's going to be Brock and Cody, we're going to be like, oh, no. We're going to be like, oh, no, Brock could win. Brock could win. Like, so it doesn't really matter. I think they should. But, Zach, what's your feelings on
it? I think that was one that I was excited to see. I mean, well, all right. So, like I said, I try to watch the clips. I'll try to follow up, whatever. And I saw that they did the face-off. And I was all for it up until the part, he put his fist to Brock's head, and it was, like, the same size and all. And I thought, all right, it's pretty cool. And then he tried to, like, throw him out of the ring. And
that was bad.
And I was like, all right, that's that. And then I really bothered to follow because I'm like, well, now I don't want to see it because now, like, it's going to be bad. So I'm like, unless it's not. Maybe they'll surprise me. Maybe it'll be a classic.
Maybe.
I want to argue
Savage era.
I want to argue something because his actual last 2 pay-per-view matches haven't been bad. Like, Bobby and Omos overperformed our expectations last year. We all expected this to be terrible. And all 3 of us were like, woo! When Bobby won, like, we were involved in the match. Maybe because we were live.
I was happy it was over, is why I was cheering.
It could be. And then his Braun Strowman match wasn't bad.
It wasn't. You're right. That was the first time I saw, in one of my, the VP of the org I work for was talking to me. He's like, I haven't been excited for a Giant versus Giant match maybe ever, and this is the first time they made me care about it. So I agree. Him versus Strowman did something for me.
Yeah.
And I don't really like either of them. Sorry, go ahead.
I think that Strowman and Bobby both kind of do more in a match than Brock Lesnar would. So that's the only thing that I feel if they couldn't do a basic thing right, then I think it's like you said, it's just going to be suplex, knock him down, this and that, and then it's like, oh god, if he can't even get over the top rope,
Let's continue into Bobby.
It's not the Royal
Man,
Rumble.
I feel
it's
bad
fine.
for this guy. I really feel bad for this guy. It feels like his feud was cut short with Brock for whatever reason. Either they felt like, oh, this Brock and Bobby thing, people aren't into it as much. So they gave us a crappy ending, cut short, and then now he's going into a weird out of nowhere thing with Bray. And now Bray's like, he must have COVID again for some reason. He's somehow sick. From what I'm hearing, he's sick to the point where he can't film anything, can't record anything, and now Bobby's in the 30-man battle royal for the Andre Memorial. Bobby went from definitely being on the card to now he's in the battle royal. Let's talk about this. What are our feelings on this? Because I know I personally just feel bad for the guy.
I still think he'll end up on the main card. It seems like there's a lot of stuff online I'm seeing about him doing an open challenge because he says, I'm ready to fight anybody who comes. Now, I thought this might have been a work, right? Because Alexa was injured and got a carcinoma removed, but then she's on The Masked Singer, and it seems like that's where she was. I don't know if she was actually hurt or if they use that, because they can't say she's in The Masked Singer or else it spoils the show, right? So
is that live?
Well, it's not live, but you have to guess who it is. So you can't.
No, I'm saying could they have filmed that months ago?
I don't know. That I don't know.
Even if they did, though, they can't really promote her being on it because then people wouldn't know her.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I was like, maybe that was before she supposedly has been injured. Maybe they filmed it before she was injured.
I imagine not, because I don't think she'd be on WWE TV and then going to do the match. I mean, she could. I don't know. But anyway, I think it's all a work, and I think Bray and Alexa are going to show up at WrestleMania, and Bray's going to get his redemption with Alexa after she turned on him at 37 for no fucking reason after a really good build, and Randy Orton squashes him in less than 5. I was so mad at that match. I want a Bray and Alexa redemption. Otherwise, I don't care what's going on with Bobby Lashley. I love you legacy-wise, Bobby, but you're not the person I care about in this situation.
No. That's good on you, but honestly, I'm done with Bray. If this is anything other than a work, I'm done. I'm done with him. I don't understand this supernatural angle. I still think and I'm going to get hate for this. I think the best version of Bray was the Eater of Worlds when he was with Harper and Rowan. Yep. And he was just this bad dude. And it doesn't have to be this fiend supernatural, Firefly Funhouse and 8 months. I mean, let's talk. He came back in October, November. Yeah. Right. And he's had one match, and the rest of it has been these 7-minute introductions and meandering promos. And if this is not a work, I'm done with him. He's not reliable. And quite frankly, he's not in the ring enough for us to be invested. And listen, Bobby is my guy. He got buried a year ago when they took that U.S. title off him. He made the U.S. title great again. People were like, it was Seth, and then it was Austin. No, it was Bobby before it was Seth. Mm-hmm. And then they sacrificed his title reign to pump up Austin Theory because he was getting Vince McMahon hate. And now, he goes in with Brock, does some bangers with Brock, but then it gets the ending of it gets screwed, and now he's got the Bray Wyatt curse, and now he's stuck doing this. I mean, I'm done with Bray. If we're gonna keep going this supernatural route, I don't need it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I texted Teddy the exact same thing. I said, if this is not a work, I think he's done. It's so bad because early on he was horribly mismanaged because I don't think they knew what they wanted to do with his creativity. And Vince showed, especially when he got older, an inability to work with very creative people and not know what to do with them.
Well, Hunter,
if they didn't fit his mold, he didn't know what to do.
Yeah, Hunter also said Bray is like a whirlwind. He's like, you got to really know how to contain him and put him on the right track. But I'm gonna give Zach a chance to talk in a second. Yeah. It's that's how I was coming in before Bray even came back. I was the only person saying I'm really not excited. I was like, I'm really not excited because I've never been that high on Bray because the payoff is never there. You get invested in this guy and then he loses. This guy has a losing record in WWE.
You fall in love with the ceiling is what it is.
Yeah, say it again.
You fall in love with the ceiling, what his potential is for how creative and how smart he is. You're like, this guy could be fucking amazing, but it never happens. You're right. It never
every
happens.
toxic relationship.
When we steer away, we've decided that we're going to steer away from kayfabe for everything else. except for Bray Wyatt. So everybody else has to play the realistic role.
Yeah.
But yet this guy gets to be a freaking supervillain.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
It's weird. And Taker gave him the nod too. Taker believes in Bray, but
Well, it's sad because Taker's nodded to Bray, who nothing has happened with. His nods don't seem to amount to anything. And then we have, except for Omos, who he's there when no one else wants him there.
Listen, you'll never have me on after this. Undertaker, overrated. Sorry.
Hey, what?
You heard me.
Quoted.
Overrated.
Wow. I'd like to dive into that a little bit.
No. Zach has not got to talk.
Okay, yeah, Zach, go ahead. Yeah.
Freaking Bray.
As somebody who was a big Bray Wyatt fan and excited for him to come back, I would definitely say disappointing doesn't even begin to describe it. They started with this whole story. It had all these things. People were invested. And then, like he said, nothing happened. It just went on and on. And then it would be a sharp turn. All right, we're going to do this now. And then forget about all the other stuff. Now we're going to do this. And then there is no payoff. There was no payoff with the Alexa Fiend thing. There was no payoff with the Firefly Fun, supposedly coming back. And you opened up these doors. But then they don't follow through. They, instead of that, changed it quickly to, all right, I'm going after Bobby or Brock. And it was but no, those are two different stories that have their own things going on. Why would you? And then now, if he is hurt or if he is sick or whatever, now you miss all this time. We have to drop this story, and then it's going to be like before. You just have to randomly pop up somewhere that they don't know what to do with, and it's just not going to work. So. And
then all of a sudden, Howdy and him are best friends. They were all of a sudden we missed it. We're now him and his boy Howdy, my boy Howdy, as LA Knight said. It was just they're just cool. They're just cool together.
It's a guy who looks different than the original guy that came out.
Yeah.
Now he looks different. He acts weird, and they're friends. It was almost like they just were all right, throw this together, move on. But I would hope that something happens with Bobby. Which, speaking of redemptions and stuff, the one story with Bobby I've always wanted to get, a good clean finish on is him and his feud with Goldberg's son that he destroyed at some point, who never got his revenge. So I would say if Bobby's looking for a challenge, we hear that ambulance siren coming down, and they cut to the back. Oh my God, security!
And it's Gage Goldberg,
and it's his son who's always shirtless.
He's always
Pete.
Listen,
make it happen.
That's the revenge match of the century.
Well, so with Bobby, there's 3 rumors floating around. It said we're gonna get him and LA Knight.
Yeah.
Or we're gonna get him and Randy, or we're gonna get him and Big E.
I heard Randy slotted for Raw after Mania. Big E would make my heart explode.
Well, if it's either one of them, if he does an open challenge, whether he's slotted for Raw after Mania, why not put the pop on WrestleMania? I think Big E would get the biggest pop because
yes,
that's the real heart tugging one right there.
Yeah,
and he's been way longer. And then I think Randy would still get a crazy pop.
I think that's a good Raw after Mania because it's a big return. I get Big E is also a big return. That just seems more Raw after Mania because you want to I don't know. I feel like this Mania wouldn't be about him, and I feel like that's not something they would do. I don't know. Just doesn't feel like.
That's fine too. And then it was possible LA Knight, which I really like LA Knight, but I also just don't think LA Knight probably is gonna get squashed. And there's no they could have a build up. LA Knight could have been messing with Bobby for a while. That could have been a decent build up to just throw it in a quick match. So I don't know what they're doing, but I do hope Bobby gets a match, and I would love to see LA Knight on the show. Seriously hoping that LA Knight just comes out, starts flapping his gums, and then Stone Cold comes down.
That's what I've heard.
Oh well, here we go. Oh my goodness, what do we got, Garrett? What do we got?
Yeah.
You don't want to see the old guy?
Stone Cold, also overrated.
Yes. Zach's done. He's out. He can't take it anymore.
If I just keep saying more ridiculous things, then this will be my show in 5 minutes because you guys will all just walked off. That's.
I'm locked right the fuck in. I need to hear
it. Let's dial it in. Give us your justification why the Undertaker's overrated.
I need it.
Is it because he beat the crap out of DDP? Listen, DDP was stalking the man's wife.
Is it because he hanged?
we pretend that Diamond Dallas Page's career ended in WCW. All right.
That's a good call.
that was that was not him.
That was someone
Listen,
else.
Gotta explain something.
The Undertaker's longevity and his storytelling are awesome, right? But at the end of the day, we talk about him like he's a Mount Rushmore guy, and he's a 3-time champ. He was in WWE for what, 25, 30 years?
30, yeah.
I think he's a 6-time champ.
No. Oh, sorry. I'm world champs and WWE champs. I always forget to combine those. 6-time champ.
Yeah,
6-time
6-time world champ, yeah.
He's not, for me, I don't know. I never got it. I thought his entrances were always too damn long. It was always too much about this. I couldn't get behind him.
So Teddy and I have actually talked about Undertaker and his lack of title reign, saying he was so good and so intriguing and drawing as a person. He he didn't need the world title to draw. So that's one of those things where that's why he's on the Mount Rushmore, because he drew but didn't necessarily need the world title to do that.
Anytime he was in the world title picture, it was to elevate that title.
True.
Or to elevate the person. Elevate the person.
Yes.
Just look at it. It's like, all right, let's go in here. So when he won the world title the first time in like 10 years, he won it off Batista. The comment they made was, "You're the world champion, but the man looking down at you is Undertaker, who's really." And it's like, I think they actually said, "You're the world champion, but you're looking up at the mountain, and it's Undertaker standing there." Yeah. Like Batista, John Cena, and like Bobby Lashley, respective champions. At the respective champions were like, "Yeah, all right, you guys are the champs, but like that's the Undertaker. Like you guys can't beat him."
Well, I think too, it's hard. He even said this in interviews. He's like, I'm 3 inches too tall to be a champ. Like when you're 6'8", when you're just so big, you can't have extended runs as champ, because at the end, we're supposed to be put in this believable world. Who the hell is going to be a 6'8", this
athletic?
Yeah, you look at these guys that are really, really big, and they can have runs, but like they're never going to be 16-time or 12-time or whatever. It's just it's not going to happen.
I think that's why he also really valued his rivalries with Rock and Batista. He said he's like, these big dudes that we could show that we could go, actually could go and stuff like that. But he also said he liked working with smaller dudes like Shawn and Kurt too, because it's like they it really brought out of him. But I think you look at the Undertaker and it's just like, this dude has put over so many people. WrestleMania during its darkest times had great moments because of the Undertaker. He put respect on the name. I mean, if you talk about the two most important figures in WrestleMania history, I would say it's Hulk Hogan and the Undertaker.
Absolutely.
Well, without Hulk, you don't have WrestleMania.
True.
So
and
then Hulk's gone, and then you have the streak that just is a pivotal point of WrestleMania for.
But the streak, the streak gets more credit than it should, because the streak wasn't really a thing until it was like 15 matches in. Like they weren't talking about the streak after 3.
Correct.
Like
it was like after 10, they were like, "Oh, he's on. He's got 10 wins," and then it was like 11, and it was like, "All right." And then I think after Randy.
Yes, Randy is when they started really talking about it.
Yeah, I was talking about the streak, but still, I mean, it put emphasis on WrestleManias going forward. And like there were some rough WrestleManias where all we had was the streak. All right, so
I'm gonna immediately take back my take. Is that allowed?
Yeah. Oh, I retract. Yeah. I step it back all the time.
I retract that take. You guys, like, as I'm talking through my points and realizing how horrible they are, and I'm forgetting like American Badass Taker and like Ministry of Darkness Taker.
Yeah, Ministry of Darkness was another level, man.
So I'm gonna retract that take.
What about Stone Cold?
Listen, I love Stone Cold. Like I loved him, right? But like honestly, at this point, I hate the man because we can't get through one promo without hearing 15 times and completely derailing anybody that you're trying to build up to any kind of promo, because you can tell it shakes those new people on the mic, and it's like, can we move past this?
Did you hear Charlotte this week?
I was just about to bring that up.
Really?
Yeah.
She was like, "Really? Are you wedding me right now?" And I was like,
"Shut up, because I have something to say," is what she said.
And you can't tell them to stop, because then it becomes louder.
It's worse. Yeah.
It's been 15 years since.
But it's really just a testament to how good that phrase was. Which I'm surprised because you know what? You know what phrase I thought was going to go like that too, but it hasn't. The New Days. Woo, woo. I thought that would have like carried on for years.
Oh, the Who? Yeah.
Yeah. But let's get back to
That's what they went for.
We've actually been talking about wrestling. Let's get back to the WrestleMania card.
If I may, real quick, if I can just say that not only is Stone Cold my favorite of all time, but Stone Cold taught 4-year-old Zach all the swear words that he knew. I'm very proud to own, I don't know how well you can see it behind me here, but I own a piece of the table that Stone Cold threw Kevin Owens to.
That's awesome.
Which I was very excited to get on a lovely discount at WWEshop.com if you want to visit after the pod.
Hashtag no free ads. Okay, great. Love it.
Yeah, you just...
Listen, I got. Let me give you 30 seconds because Zach, I love that because I was educating my kids about the glory days, and I was teaching them about the Rock, and we were talking about Mike's skills, and we started going through some of his promos and some of his catchphrases, which was phenomenal. Until later in the night when my wife was home and they were asked to pick something up, and my 7-year-old said, "How about I shine that up, turn it sideways, and stick it straight up your candy, you know?" But at which point we were all sent to our rooms. So
listen,
I appreciate that.
It's always a good idea till it happens.
It was great, and we were laughing. We were having a great time. Like you cannot, gone right away. Hey kids, pick that up. Hey mom, how about instead of that, I shine it up, turn it sideways, and okay, that was the end of that.
Who do you Rudy Poo think you're talking to?
Oh, dude.
I love that one. The Rudy Poo, I love that
My
one.
favorite is when he goes to the NWO, tells Kevin Nash to take the camera and shine it up and give it to Hall. Hall's going to turn it sideways and give it to Hulk. And Hulk's going to take it and shove it up his ass. That was absolutely phenomenal.
Sorry, I don't mean to sidetrack you guys.
It's
you're
fine.
good.
We do this to ourselves when no one else is here.
This is a good show. We got 4 people on. Let the conversations roll. Well, that just made me think of something that Zach brought up on our episode last week that Zach was dying about when you mentioned Hulk Hogan's name. And I went to go spell Hulk's name on the bracket.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess I put H-O.
You put Hulk Hogan, and then Nick said, you, and then you said, well, me personally, I really feel like, and he was like, it's spelled with a U. Oh, yeah, there you go. I had to pause it. I was laughing so hard, I couldn't help. I was like, come on.
And he goes, you're really good at spelling.
After looking at your bracket, I still think that Bobby Roode is in the lead.
You're right. That was good. I fixed it on round 2. I fixed it to Rude.
He's a sleeper. Bobby Roode's a sleeper.
He lost to Demon Finn Balor round 1.
I mean, well, Demon's got a good entrance. Yeah. We'll get to that a little later. So let's rip into these. It's not gonna be a conversation. Let's rip into these WrestleMania showcase matches.
Mm-hmm.
We talking Fatal 4-Way tags?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yep.
I mean,
it's a good idea.
They have to know that no one's gonna care about this. And like this is just Zach knows, everybody knows. I'm about to go down a rabbit hole because for 3 WrestleManias, I've been waiting for a goddamn.
Not a one.
To get one. Yet to get one live. It's like I'm sitting here and I'm just thinking in my head like, no one cares about this match. You have 4 tag teams that like no one. Street Profits are the only ones that we care about, and we're weaning on them. We're fading quickly because you haven't done anything with them. We're fading quickly. They got about a good couple months left before we just say break them up.
No. The Montez Ford is going straight to the moon after WrestleMania.
Yep. Well, he's a huge thing. So that's what I'm saying. I was like, but the easy way to make us care about this is just make them ladder matches. Like, why would you just not make these ladder matches? Because no one else cares. I mean, you have Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins, and Ricochet in that match, and the Viking Raiders are no slouch. They could have a crazy ladder match. Why you don't do that? I don't know. Like, why else? Tell me why. There's no stakes. What do they win if they win this random fatal 4-way tag team match? They're not even feuding with each other. So, like, what is the point? There's no story. You just took 4 random tag teams and threw them into a match. And one, like the Alpha Academy is involved with Maximum Male Models. Like, I'm actually kind of excited where that's going. So now all of a sudden, we're going to put them in a match. They're randomly in a match. Like, what's going on here? Like, I get it. Like, you just want to Like I said, like you could have made us care about this. Like you can make anyone care about any match if there's a ladder in it.
Well, I think that was the main thing I said to you, because I know you were upset. You were telling me about it. And I said, well, they're going to put it on NXT, I think, to help people watch that, which is not working because I still have no interest in watching anything NXT at the moment.
I'm going to watch Stand and Deliver.
They put the ladder match on there, and then I said to Teddy, I was like, hey, the Ring of Honor is doing a fatal 5-way whatever tag team match, the Jay Briscoe tribute tag. And he was like, it's just not the same. It's not what I want. And I said, I understand, but it's just WrestleMania. I think the WrestleMania ladder match era may be done, unfortunately.
So its lasting memory is Zack Ryder sitting on top to open up WrestleMania.
Listen, everybody loved that moment, and it's a moment like people are clamoring for. Like anytime Matt Cardona is mentioned, WWE fans freak out. Oh, is he coming back? And he knows he's got them all too. Every time on Twitter, anytime rumors are circulating, he feeds right into it, and I think it's phenomenal. He gets it. I'm a big Matt Cardona guy, but the showcases. Okay, so the women's one I am actually okay with because there was qualification. So there was matches. We saw people won, right? Well, okay, two. There was two.
What qualifications for what? What is this match for?
They got
showcase.
There was qualifications to get in the showcase, and Teddy and I said last week the only way you can make us care about it is if there's a ladder, and at top of that ladder there's a contract for a future tag team championship match. It's that simple. It is that simple to make this interesting.
It's almost like you're just like,
no,
we don't want to overpack the show. we don't want to overexcite people.
You gotta piss sometime.
But that's what he wants. He doesn't want cards with 14 matches on them, right? Like, I think
that's fine, but this match is on there regardless.
Yeah.
So just throw a ladder in there.
Yeah, for what though? They're not going to take away the credit of Money in the Bank. They're not going to take that away.
True.
What I don't understand is like what they're trying to do with if I go to the men's, you have two true tag teams, and then you have two slap together tag teams. So like initially I'm like, are you trying to build up are you going to build up the Viking Raiders as the next credible threat? Are you trying to showcase Montez Ford for his singles push? Or Ricochet? Are you trying to showcase Ricochet? Like I just don't understand what direction they're going with this. And I do agree. Like there's no stakes other than it's a cheap way for him to get 8 people into one match.
Right.
The women's match I won't even touch because it's just a shameless push. We continue the shameless push of Ronda Rousey. Like when are we gonna?
Not to mention, none of those are actually legitimate tag teams in that tournament.
The closest is Shayna and Ronda. That's the closest.
And then I guess what's her name? Carmella
exactly.
Carmella and the other girl I think are becoming an
Chelsea Green.
I wasn't sure if it was Chelsea Green, but yeah, it's like
that's another thing that I'm not over, and we've talked about the last few weeks. There's zero reason for Chelsea Green and Carmella to be tied up with Asuka and Bianca, considering it's a one-on-one championship match. That is so and Teddy's right. I keep trying to defend her, but it's probably because they don't trust Asuka to carry this on her own, and it's upsetting because there's a lot of potential. It's another. We fall in love with the ceiling. Right? This was supposed to be the female Joker in WWE. That's what her character was supposed to be, and now it's nothing.
You could do a whole show on why the Japanese wrestlers don't succeed in the WWE.
You're not wrong.
I don't like Asuka. I haven't for a while. I think she's good in the ring. That's it. But like I'm turned off from Asuka because I'm like, you could see people like every promo people cut with her, all she does is go, "You're not ready for Asuka." That's all she does. And it's like people are like trying to be serious, and she's just like, like she makes everything a joke. She makes everything a joke, and it's like, do we have a serious storyline? There is no storyline. It's just, hey, yeah, you're guaranteed a good match. There's no storyline. Yeah. It's just you're guaranteed a good match.
Give her a manager.
That's
Give her someone to do the talk. I mean. And that is not done enough, right? Unfortunately for women in wrestling, right? If it's a manager, it's like a boyfriend or something. Give her a serious manager, a Paul Heyman style person that can do the talking and introduce her, and just let her go in the ring and kick butt. Like that, it's that simple.
We've never seen that. That's a good point, Garrett.
That's an amazing point. I've never thought about I think that's a big problem with a lot of these women that don't cut it on the mic and need some help there to get them over as far as personality and stuff. Because there's women that cut it in the ring. Like, there's a lot of women I enjoy watching in the ring, but as soon as they start talking in the mic, I'm like, that's not you. Let's
You know
not.
who I
It, does,
love to
it,
see?
doesn't, it doesn't have to be a male manager.
No, it doesn't.
There are females who are amazing on the mic,
Yes.
but just like we protect these male wrestlers with managers to do the talking, protect these women. They are amazing in-ring people. Let's let someone else do the talking while she stands there with crazy face paint and blows mist into people. Like, I can get behind that.
That
Like, the
would
second
be
she starts
sick,
talking,
yeah.
we can't do any builds.
Yeah.
I got a manager for her.
Go.
Zach's gonna like this one. Zeb Colton.
Zeb Coulter! Yeah, baby!
We put Zeb out there with her. Zach, give us your take.
Not on Zeb.
No, I'm done with it at the moment. No, I think, I mean, AEW is something that's good with the manager thing. They were good with bringing in a lot of legends and to help these newer guys that maybe weren't ready to cut it on the mic. And I think that is something WWE could learn for, especially with like he said, a lot of these guys that don't speak English too well, that it's almost like instead of trying to help them and trying to do that stuff, they just kind of lose faith. And then they just kind of push to the back, like Shinsuke, even with Triple H in charge, really hasn't done much of anything. And I don't remember if it was Io or if it was a different Japanese girl that was on NXT that like they were doing promos like pre-tape with subtitles,
Kyrie,
and it was like a badass video, and it was like, all right, cool, like this is maybe a new way of making it work. And then that just went away too, and that was it. So it was something that I would like to see them change up, because when she came out with that face paint, I was like, oh, because I didn't like dancing Asuka, I didn't like weird jumping around yelling. I thought it was stupid. So when I saw this, I thought, all right, cool, this is gonna be cool. They'll make her this badass thing, and I could not care less about this story with her and Bianca. That is one that I will not watch because I have no interest in. So I
called for it
months.
I called for it months before the Royal Rumble happened. I was like, Asuka needs to be the modern day Great Muta, and that never happened.
I couldn't be less intrigued in this match. Like, I literally just don't care, and I wanted to, and I just said, you could have done this. I pitched an idea to Nick the other day, and I said, the only way you can get any resemblance of care into this match is Asuka needs to attack Bianca on Monday, steal the title, and then walk into WrestleMania with the title around her waist. Like, we've never seen that. We've never seen the challenger walk into Mania with the title, and they do how bad does that look? The champion walking into WrestleMania without their title.
They'd never do that to Bianca, though.
That would get some resemblance of like attention to it. But other than that, there's no other way to make anyone care.
They fumbled this so bad. Yep. I mean, Rhea versus Bianca was on their plate, dude.
That should have been it.
And the build would have been amazing, and there would have been great continuity because Judgment Day was running roughshod on Raw.
Yep.
And it's just they fumbled this so hard because I think they have ruined both builds for both women's matches, and it's a shame because it's 4 super talented wrestlers with no build, and it's just, how can you tell such great stories? That's the problem when you have unbelievable stories, that when you have bad stories, the difference is so stark, right? And you're gonna have people walk out of night one while they're main eventing night one.
If it's not Sammy and KO,
it won't be.
People are gonna leave.
They're slating Rhea and Charlotte right now as main event, and that picked up more steam. But to like go off of what Garrett was saying, like there's no build, and the Rhea and Bianca thing made more sense. Rhea in a promo with Charlotte mentioned Bianca, saying it wasn't over between them. Why? Why even bring that up when Charlotte Flair isn't? Now I feel like she's not gonna beat Charlotte. And I felt legitimately that she was gonna take the reins and go over Charlotte, but now I don't know. Oh, and I know about Bianca, and that's not done. Why mention that if you're going after the SmackDown Women's Championship and you legitimately want to win that? It's just so bad. And I love Rhea, and to me, this was gonna be her first legitimate moment. She lost the NXT title to Charlotte. This was going to be her redemption, and now I feel like she's going to lose, and it's not going to matter.
They just started building that piece of that last week.
Yes.
They've had 3 months to talk about that.
It's
They
so
miss out
bad.
on lightning in a bottle. That's one thing they do is they miss out lightning in a bottle. Like something, I think that comment was like maybe we're gonna get Rhea and Bianca next year at WrestleMania.
SummerSlam, maybe.
But you can't. But you don't know if it's still gonna have the same weight as it would have had this year.
I'm telling you, it will not.
Yeah,
you
so
know
like,
it won't.
Yeah, it's like why waste that? Like that's what you should. And like we all got it when she said Charlotte. We were like, what? I was shocked, and I was like, okay, I guess, yeah, because you lost her. I was like,
But they've been Bianca and her have been bumping into each other for months before that, like purposely bumping into each other.
They're the hottest things right now, and I just don't know why you wouldn't do that.
And then
it's like
on Friday, Charlotte cuts this promo, and they want her, and then she goes directly at the crowd. I'm like, are we supposed to not like you now? Are we supposed to root for Rhea? I don't understand what's happening. I don't know if she got pissed in the moment and just went off, or if that's a character change. I don't know what's going on.
It's sad. I don't, like Garrett said, it's like these women matches we have this year, it's kind of like you had great possibilities, and now we're just like, we're here, and we're like, all right, it should be good. But it's like, it's not what it could have been. Like, this could have been over the moon. And like I had said this, Shake, I said, hey, listen, I think a Bianca and a Rhea is huge. Mm-hmm. And then I said, you know what I would do with the other title? I would do a Becky and Charlotte. I'd run that back because that can always get heat.
That's what we said months ago.
Behind it. I said that can always get people behind it. And the funny thing is, you could have done anything with Charlotte. Everybody works with Charlotte. You could have done Asuka and Charlotte. You could have done that part 2. There's history behind that. You could have done Becky and Charlotte. There's a lot of heat with that. And then you could have also done Bayley and Charlotte. Like, you could have done any one of those. And people would have got behind it. And so it just didn't make any sense, but it is what it is. I mean, we're at the card, we got the card that we got.
Well, hey, listen, you mentioned a word that triggered my brain. Heat. Does anybody in the WWE have more heat than Dominic Mysterio right now? Is he a top 3 heel in the world right now? I think it's arguable. Roman Reigns, MJF, Dominic Mysterio.
But who has real heat? People love, I heard, who did I hear say this? I think it was like Bubba Wright. People love to hate MJF. People love to hate Roman.
Yes.
People hate Dominic.
People cannot stand him.
They hate Dominic. And it's not like, oh, I just get him off my screen. It was like, boo! Someone beat this kid's ass. Like, we hate him. Dominic, Montreal, my God. When is the last time we've seen anyone get that much hate?
It's like when people thought Big Dog Roman Reigns was catching heat, and really it was just that people hated him.
Yeah.
There's a big difference. I think it's turning, though. I do think it's turning into actual heat right now, which is good because you want him to do well.
That thing this past Friday, when he got in Angie's face and said, "Mom, shut up," I stood up off the couch. I said, "Ray, you can't let him say that. You can't just..."
Snatched the microphone out of her hand.
Oh, bro. And then when we talk about pops and payoffs, when he hit him, I screamed like I was 11 years old. Let's go, Ray, beat his ass. Finally, let's go. I hadn't felt more like a kid since I'd been at WrestleMania. That was amazing. This is a match. I called Teddy immediately. I said, I feel this powerfully about a mid-card match. This is a mid-card match, and I'm as excited for this as I am any Bloodline story. I'm a big Rey Mysterio guy, so I'm a little biased, but that's where I'm at with it.
I agree, and I think I just hope the match delivers. But this is the other match I was talking about that I feel very passionate about. But Aaron, thoughts?
I think he should have slapped her like Stephanie slapped Linda back in the day.
That would have been a turn.
That would have got heat. No, I'm really excited for it. I like what they're doing with that because at one point I didn't care at all about the Judgment Day. Like I thought the whole thing was boring. I couldn't get into it. Now I think they're all separately doing their own things, especially this one. Who would have thought that this would have been the one to pick up all this steam? So I think it'll be really good. And I'm excited to circle back. Speaking of the Judgment Day, as far as Rhea Ripley goes, a lot of the women wrestlers nowadays, I just can't get into. I can't really get into Charlotte and Becky and some of the other people. It doesn't do it. Rhea Ripley, if they do not push her to the moon, either at WrestleMania or whatever else, it just needs to happen. I have people who don't even watch the show that have caught on to her and think like she's the coolest thing and everything else. If they somehow mess this up, then that's on them. I don't know how they can possibly do that.
She could be a great heel champion too.
Amazing.
She could be a really good heel champion.
It's the time. Like, it has to happen. But as far as Prison Dom, I think that'll be good. I think he'll get the win. I would assume. I know a lot of people say they assume it's Ray's last match. I don't know if they'll find a way to throw that into the story too, like he's going to retire his dad from wrestling or, something.
I hope they do that realistically. I really do.
I think it has to happen because, like Sean got inducted and then retired. Rick got inducted and retired. So I think it makes sense.
I said this to Teddy, right? So Ray said, I don't know, 6 months to a year ago that he wasn't going to give Dominic a mask, and people were asking why he didn't. He's like, he has to earn it. He's not just going to get it. Like, he has to earn it from me. I think this is Dominic's time. He's going to beat Ray and take his mask off of him, and that's how he earns the mask, quote unquote. And Ray's going to go out maskless on his back.
It's fair. I think that would be a good idea. I never got the hate for Dom. Like, people always complained about he wasn't good enough of a wrestler. He wasn't this. He wasn't that. I thought he was fine. So I'm glad that now this is working out for him and he's actually got something to do. Not that I didn't love the father-son toaster jump last year, but I think this is going to go a little better.
Dude. Oh, my inner 8-year-old was screaming. Garrett, go ahead.
I wish I seen it.
You missed
it. My out 27-year-old was screaming.
I was at the bathroom at that time.
I got Nick, I gotta tell you about later. WCW Rey Mysterio was way better than WWE.
With no mask going against Kevin Nash?
Oh, that was no mask. The storyline was outstanding.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I listen. From what I see, WCW, like, the only thing I've really watched of Ray in WCW is the iconic Halloween Havoc match with Eddie Guerrero. And, like, you still see shades of that. And I think Teddy and I discuss this all the time. Ray can still go at 45, and it's impressive still.
It's absurd.
He's really good. But you got anything to say on the Dominic and Ray story, Garrett?
No, I kind of said, I agree with you guys.
Yeah. I love the Judgment Days. They're doing really good things. I feel bad for Priest. Man, has anyone seen that meme where there's like 4 guys in a car and it's like they're all singing show tunes and then one guy driving's like, it's
just
like they're saying that everybody in the Judgment Day just cheering that they have a match, and David Priest is just like, I've been carrying Dominic's ass for the last couple of months in tag team matches, and I don't have a match. I've been carrying his ass.
He don't got shit.
He's gonna get his. He's gonna get a push. He's gonna get his.
He has to at this point. He's doing a lot of dirty work, and I honestly feel bad for him, and he's playing his part well. Like, it seems like you see guys get frustrated in that situation and kind of check out. He's been into it. I think while he's taking a back seat, I've been more intrigued in this Priest than I have in a long time.
I agree.
There's a the new, like, if you were saying like a new batch of heels and faces, he's like in that new batch of heels with like Gunther and like those. I just think those guys are going to get pushed right to the moon, and we're going to need lineups of those guys. As the mid cards become more valuable, you're going to need formidable opponents for those things. He's going to get those push within that faction.
Yeah,
they do. Well, we got Finn and Edge in a Hell in a Cell match.
This is one of those times we feel like they did right by us, right? Because we wanted that for so long. Everybody was clamoring for it. And we know as WWE fans, we don't always get what we want. Most of the time, we do not. But this time we did. And I think this is, like I said to Teddy, the cell plays to Edge's new style really well. Now there's more of a reason for him to lay around and take a breath. Because there's a cell. He's getting it, it's added to that. It's expected that you're going through it in there. Where, like, last year, AJ versus Edge was basically them napping in the ring for 10 minutes of a 20-minute match.
And AJ, there's the documentary from last year, and AJ's like, we took some hard blows, so it made sense that we were selling for a while. And I'm like, guys, no, you didn't. But I actually don't even think we're going to see that. I really don't. I think these are 2 guys going to war. You got a Demon Finn, who's not going to run from Edge, because he's a heel, but We got Demon Finn, and then I think we're gonna see Edge. Like Edge is, I think we're getting the Brood Edge.
Yes.
Like I think we're gonna get that Brood entrance. I'm excited for it. And I think I think Edge is gonna. I think this is probably Edge's last Mania too, and I think Edge is gonna leave it all out on the mat here.
There's no thinking. It is because he announced his last match is this summer in Toronto.
Yeah, well, I heard him recently talk. He's like, it's still. That's what he said, but he's not 100%, nailed in the coffin on that one. I think that's all we got for Monday Night Raw. Wait, did I cut anyone off who wanted to talk about that cell match?
No, I'll say though that like Nick said with the Edge and AJ match being so long, my mom doesn't watch wrestling in over 20 years, but my mom still to this day will make a reference of something being an Edge match because it was so long. Because even as a kid, Edge's matches used to always have commercial breaks in between. So, like, if I ever had it on and she'd be walking by, she'd be like, oh, is this an Edge match? It's been going for a while.
Well, let's never forget that WrestleMania 36 match with Randy.
The
36-minute match.
We can forget it.
That 36-minute match, that was rough.
Followed by the greatest wrestling match ever. That was the middest wrestling match ever.
I remember my friend watching that and saying to me, you didn't think that was exciting? I go, he would like hit him with a rock bottom and they'd be like, it's over. Do you honestly think Edge is beating Randy over with a rock bottom, or Randy's going to beat him with a choke slam? And like, it was just
not good.
The pandemic era is wild.
Thank God for Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, he actually was. His feud with Randy was awesome during that era.
It was.
But let's get over to SmackDown, Friday Night SmackDown.
Good one.
Some good stuff on. Yeah, we had some good stuff. We've already discussed it on the show. Ray clocking his son, and then they had an awkward stare down in the entrance area where Dom was staring at him, and then Ray was just like, "Well, how long are you going to stand there so I can go back?" And I was, you don't think it was awkward?
So long. That was the longest stare down.
I was like, I don't know if Dom wasn't catching on. It was
he must have not.
He must not have caught on. He was like, you have to leave, Dom, so that Ray can leave, or else it doesn't make sense that he just walks past you.
Who the hell is in the production truck? Cut to commercial. Jesus. I mean.
Yeah, right? Like, nobody needs to see this shit. Like,
they were staring at each other for probably a minute and a half, and it felt like 15 minutes. And
it made Ray look soft. So, like, he was afraid of his son. Like, he was just like, well, I don't want to go up there because he's going to hit me now. I was like, what are we doing? That's another thing. I honestly think that's WWE's true downfall in the previous generations is the camera crew. I think it's the production truck. The production truck is doing terrible with their cut ins and cut outs, and like they don't know where to be. It's like, who's doing this? Like, do you guys not get where to be when you need to be somewhere? What camera angle you need to be at? Like,
and it's weird, right? There's some shows where it's fucking awesome. There was a random Friday Night SmackDown for no reason at all. The camera they cut to was following KO out of Gorilla to the stage, and it showed the arena behind KO. I was like, that's an amazing shot. They never do stuff like that. And when I'm watching old shows, at the beginning of this podcast, Teddy, when we first started, did I not mention to you, I thought when we were kids, the camera angles they used were way better. Like, I don't know what it is. I just think the camera angles now suck. They show so many things I think they shouldn't. If I have to watch one more person sitting there like this, as opposed to the person getting on the top rope, I'm going to throw up. It's stupid. They're sitting there like, I'm going to catch you. Like, watch the person climb. That's more entertaining. Like, I'll never understand it.
That, or when they're directly over the guy's face as he's getting pinned so you can see his eyes open.
Like, directly looking at the ref? I hate that.
Why don't you get it at an angle where we can't see who kicked out?
Kurt Angle said it the best. I'm pretty sure I got pinned a lot of times I wasn't supposed to, but the ref knew the count, so fuck it.
Yeah, like, it's just... I just don't get it. Like, why don't you... If you film from this angle where I can't really see their shoulders, my, like, suspense is going to be up because I don't know if he's going to kick out. I can't see, and he's shifting his body to kick out. Like, it's just that simple. Like, I don't know. But, who are we? We don't get paid the money to do it. Maybe we don't.
I should. Just saying.
Maybe we don't got it down back. I don't know. But, so that started off with SmackDown. We also got, what else did we get on SmackDown? Got another qualifying match. We can really skip over that. We got a qualifying match for the women's...
Oh, no, let's talk about it. We'll break that down.
We got a contract signing between Gunther and Sheamus and Drew. That was pretty cool, even though Gunther took a Claymore that clearly hit his hand, not his face, but whatever. We're going to talk about that.
Can't win them all.
You can't win them all, but I'm excited for that match. Let's talk about that match. I wanted to be a one-on-one between Gunther and Drew, but I'm excited for this match. I listen, we all know, I'm a fan of stiff wrestling. I want it to look like you just murdered a guy. Right? That's why I like Gunther. I want it to look like, I want to go, oh God, this is hard to watch. Like, ooh, he just clobbered him. That's what I like. And that's what, I think they're aiming for that. Like, I really think that Drew said, hey, we're looking to redefine physicality. I think they're trying to elevate it to a notch that we've seen Walter versus Ilya Dragunov. I think they're trying to get somewhere close to that. I'm excited for the match. I really am. Let's hear you guys' thoughts.
This is a match where if you get queasy and violence bothers you, not going to want to watch it. This is going to be a thorough beating for upwards of 30 minutes. And the best part is, one of them's going to be on the outside recouping while the other two are beating the hell out of each other. And rest assured, they're going to be ready to go. There's not going to be a lot of lulls in this match. I don't imagine there being lulls until the very end when they're building suspense for the finish. This is going to be like, everybody says they like NASCAR but really only likes the car crashes. If you like the car crashes in NASCAR, this is what this match is going to be. You might want to tune into that. This is just going to be humans crashing into each other and, as William Regal said, hitting them really hard in places that don't break. That is what's going to happen repeatedly.
I'm looking forward to seeing a Gunther clothesline. He tries to take people's heads off.
Big fan of
Gunther. He tries to put his forearm through your chest. He really does.
Who's next?
Seen a lot of facial expressions. That's what we got.
Yeah, no, it's my biggest fear about this match is that we are expecting 5-star banger, right? And that can it possibly live up to what it is? I mean, because we've known this is coming for months.
Yeah.
So can it possibly live up to what we expect? But if you just kind of set your expectations aside and enjoy the ride for what it is, it's going to be outstanding. And those three can tell a story in the ring that is just, I think, is really good. And I do it's like this is not a big spot match in terms of like big jumps and huge complicated moves, and I kind of appreciate that. So I think it's gonna be awesome. I think it's gonna be great, and I think it's gonna steal the show for whatever night it's in. And I feel bad for whatever matches it directly follows it because people are gonna be coming down from that.
Who said that? Drew might have said that almost verbatim. And
I think
a good match turns great when the simple looks amazing.
Yeah.
I think they'll go on night 2 because John and Austin are night 1, so I think they'll go to night 2. And probably Roman and Cody will follow them. And that's probably what's going to happen.
They gotta
start
open it. You can't do that and then do the world. You need
I heard they want this match higher up in the card. We'll probably have that women's showcase match right after, and then we'll have Roman and Cody.
Okay.
I tell you what, I'm gonna let Zach go in a quick second. I don't think we run that risk of this match not performing, simply because I don't think anyone's like, at least me, I'm not going, this needs to be the most spectacular match of all time. I just want to see some hard hits. And I think it's impossible for these three guys to show up and not clobber each other. You're going to get what you're looking for in this match. No one's looking for a Shawn Michaels classic. We're looking for three guys to knock the hell out of each other. And I think that's what we're going to get.
We get
and
that.
And I think it just so happens that when they do that, we do get 5-star matches. It was great storytelling and hard hits that made Gunther and Sheamus a 5-star match. It wasn't any spectacular moves. It wasn't any athleticism.
Yeah.
It was just, I'm hitting you really hard because that's what we do. We wrestle. And I'm going to tell a story in it, why we do it. I wore out Sheamus's back to the point where he went to go for the bro kick, his back gave out. I evaded the 10 beats of the dollar up into the final parts of the match. I kept teasing it that he was going to get it, and then he finally did get it. That's all it was. It was a teasing of the 10 beats of the Balor. There was the working of the back and constant blows that I thought someone was going to catch a concussion.
And those bad power bombs that I don't like.
Those were ugly power bombs, but did it play?
Yes, it did. I get it, but I didn't like. They're ugly.
We didn't like the power bombs, but he kept landing on his tailbone, and then that's what gave out on, which is crazy.
I know.
So you said something that is just so it's about expectations, right? And we could say it about every match on this card. I think it's so easy to hate, right? And I think that this is like bigger picture stuff. There's just way too much hate in the Twitter wrestling world, right? And I think it's like if you just said, listen, we are being given almost and Brock, right? Reset your expectations and enjoy it for what it is. Like I'm gonna enjoy the 8 hours of wrestling I'm gonna get that weekend, regardless of what it looks like, because like come on, it's great. And like not every match needs to be a chain wrestling spot fest. Like, and just step back and enjoy. Too much hate. I agree. I think it'd be awesome. I think every match would be awesome.
I do. Like we enjoyed Bobby, and I keep telling you guys may not remember, but we all enjoyed Bobby and Omos last year.
I remember being on my phone during that match.
Well, maybe I liked it.
That's because you're a millennial. That's all you do. Get off your damn phone. Enjoy it.
I was excited.
I watched the rest of the show.
It was also night 2.
That was also after Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. What was I supposed to do?
Yeah. But Zach, let's hear you.
I would say that I'll try to cover a few things real quick here, but I am excited for this one. I think it's going to be just as good as anybody would have hoped. I did skip over the contract signing. Not that I wasn't interested, but I was a little exhausted from using all my energy to be on the edge of my seat for the women's qualifying tag. But which let me tell you, I'll cut to that real quick. I won't take up too much time with that. But when you texted me last week, like they're doing the Fatal 4-Way, they're doing a qualifying match. I was like, what? And I was like, how would they even have enough teams to qualify? And I turned on the TV and it was like, what was it? Emma and Tegan Knox were one team. And I was like, now who in the world would even think that that's got a prayer of going through? And then they ran out already because I seen that Ronda and Shayna came out and were like, yeah, we're in it.
Yep.
All right.
Don't forget Xia Li and who was her partner? Xia Li and
Emma, Lacey Evans.
Yeah, Xia Li and Lacey Evans.
But as far as the truth thing, I am excited. And I also think that, to follow up on what you said, the hate that I just don't get it. Like I just like to watch wrestling. That's all I care about. I don't care who's on the show. I don't care whatever else. I just want to watch TV and I want to watch my shows. And I know I've said to you before, I'm sure I said it on the show in some way, shape, or form, but I think one of the worst parts of wrestling is a lot of wrestling fans. Like I think people, they're just not happy. I could go on and like something, and then I happen to be scrolling Facebook, and all I see are people complain that one guy won. But then if it was the other way around, they'd be mad about that. And they're mad, but yet they still show up, they still buy tickets, they still watch weekly, every second of every program, and they're not happy. So if you really hate it that much, it's time to move on. I just don't get it. But at the same time, I'm excited. I just want to go and watch a show. I have no expectations at this point. I'm just going to enjoy myself.
That's the best way to do it. And it really is. The fans are something. I'll comment on like WWE's pages like, oh, I like this. And they're like, you shouldn't like that. You should like this. I love when people tell me what I should like. Or like, I'm like, oh, this is why I love, this is why I started watching wrestling. Well, you should have really been watching when Austin was wrestling.
Yeah, like that was the legitimate option I had at 3 years old.
I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And one time I commented back, I said something, and I was like, oh, this is great. I was like, hopefully they do a Batista showcase. They go, no, you should do a Randy show. I was like, I replied, and I said, you could have just said,
I guess I'll just go fuck myself.
Yeah, literally.
I said, you could have literally just commented, I hope they do a Randy showcase. Why did you feel the urge to
tell me I was wrong, which I'm not.
Yeah.
I can't be wrong in this situation. You're just an asshole.
The guy didn't reply. I was like, I hope they do a Randy showcase at some point, but I personally like Batista. So I would do a Batista showcase. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. I don't know. I was like, I don't see your point here. And the guy just didn't. I was like, what is your end goal? Do you just want to be right? Like, I don't get it. Like, you just want to be right? But what do we end with? Again, let's talk about this. Let's get it out the bag. I'm gonna say it. I think the only reason Charlotte and Rhea's gonna main event is because they're girls, and they want to have girls on at the end. I think if we really were just talking about what's the most important storylines, and the most not important, the most interesting, what has the most buy-in. It wouldn't even be in the conversation. Like Sami Zayn and KO for the tag titles is the dominant option. Like it's just that. Like there's no other option. It's like I just don't get it. Like that is what needs to main event. And that storyline is so hot that it could if there was only one night, it could arguably be contender to go over Roman and Cody.
I 100% agree with that. I think people are way more into Sami Zayn than they are Cody Rhodes. And I think if the 900 plus day reign of Roman Reigns is not involved, this is just something like, oh, I hope Cody does it for his family. Like, that'd be cool. But, like, this is not on the level of Daniel Bryan and the Yes Movement, and they're trying to make it that. You can feel that, but it's not. I think everybody's way more invested in the Sami Zayn and KO and the Usos story.
I'll just say that I never liked the Sami Zayn. I mean, I never liked the Daniel Bryan story. I am really invested in the Cody Rhodes story. But I do think it does deserve to go on last, but I do think they took their foot off it. I think they need to reel us back into the Cody story. I think they need to brawl. These two need to brawl and get us back invested more into it. But
I thought Friday was interesting. I liked that, the little segment between him and Paul and Solo.
I do too. I do like that, but I think I want to see them together more. Get us like I think they need to touch for us to be like.
Again, it's Roman's not available.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Yeah. So Teddy, I'll and I promise this isn't just for the sake of arguing, but I think it's important to value the Royal Rumble, and it's not Charlotte and Rhea's fault that they screwed up the build. And I think it's important to maintain the integrity of the Royal Rumble. And if they want to change it and say, hey, the winner gets a title shot and they choose when it is, that's fine. But, you split it as they main event. So
main event, yeah.
And it's just,
but it wouldn't be the first time they've done that. There's been a few times that the Royal Rumble winner has not main evented the show. Particularly, Batista and John Cena both won the Royal... I'm sorry, Undertaker and John Cena both won the Royal Rumble and didn't main event.
Yeah,
Undertaker run it at 23, didn't main event. John Cena won the next year, didn't main event.
I don't know. I think once I just, with 2 Royal Rumbles and 2 nights, it just, I don't know. I think it's more about protecting the integrity of that and is about a PC reason. I don't know. I feel that. And I don't know. I just,
No, that's fair. And like, don't get me wrong here. I am all for the equality and like making it work, and like to me it's just about the storyline right now that I just don't feel like is there. I think like you said, Garrett, I don't want to have a situation where Zach and I go, all right, the match is over, let's run to the damn car. Let's run to the car, because that's what's gonna happen. If it's Charlotte and Rhea, as soon as that pinfall hits, we're running for the car. I know us. We've done it before. Where if it's Sami and KO, we're probably gonna stick around just to see the celebration.
Yeah.
The PC thing, I think, what Garrett mentioned, that comes into issue because what happened at Raw 30, where Becky and Bayley's cage match got pushed off for the trial of Sami Zayn. That started a whole shitstorm. Like a really big shitstorm, where how women are getting pushed off the card for a match everyone was excited for a stupid People's Court segment, which admittedly was really good. But people were really upset that it got pushed off, because I was all in on that cage match. Not that I was upset the segment ran long, because I did really like it, but like I was at the end of the show like, what the fuck? I was really upset about that, but I didn't take it to that level. But there's a lot of people. That was a big issue that the women got pushed off. And I think this is because you know how WWE likes to CYA, right? Cover their ass. Like, I think this is a part of that.
I get what you're saying too. Like the Royal Rumble is important, and like you have a valid point there. 50% of it probably is that too, or 75% of it is that. But at the end of the day, it's like, is it the right move? Is it the right move? Like,
it's not the wrong move necessarily.
And you put the match on last. That's not going to have people leaving during the middle of the match.
Yeah, but big picture, it's the right move. For this year, it feels like the wrong move, but big picture, it's the right move. it's hard to see more than this show, because that's what we're building towards. But big picture, it's the correct move. I really do think that.
I think it's hard because like they want to position this to be like a world title level match with her winning the Royal Rumble and with everything else. And that's why they would want to push that to the main event, because they're considering Charlotte to be on the same level as like a world champion. But now you have this tag match that everybody wants to see so much more.
Right.
And now you already know it's not going to open the show. So is it going to be just in the middle somewhere? Is it going to? And it just feels like with this whole story that that's something that deserves to be so much higher up on the card. But just unfortunately, there's not enough space. So it's I think it's the best that they could have done. I understand that they want to push this title match as the top match, but when you have something like that, it's like, damn, it feels like that should have been. But so, I understand why they didn't. It just kind of sucks. But
so you want to look at this a different way. If this is any other year where we don't have two separate bloodline stories, are we even mentioning this as it shouldn't be a main event? I don't think so. I think no one even bats an eye at it if there weren't two amazing. So I get where they're coming from long term. I also kind of agree with Teddy in the same sense, because I hear that and I get that. But I think it's important to remember, if this is any other year, no one bats an eye at this being a main event.
No, and you're right. And are we talking about Charlotte and Rhea?
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. But as Paul Heyman says, you're the right guy
at the right time,
right place, at the wrong time. That's what it is. Listen. I've been the right guy, the best guy at the wrong time. I've been there. We've all have. Wrong time. Timing's everything. Listen. They're in the wrong place. They're in the wrong time. I'm sorry. You have something that's so electrifying that that's what we want to see that goes on last. And not even to respect Charlotte and Rhea, you don't want them to go on last. You don't want them to go on after this match. You don't. They shouldn't want to go. They should want to go on after this. Well, because you got 4 guys. These guys are going to tear the house down. Not to mention, like, this story's already involved, and these guys are going to tear the house down.
Why not start and end night 2 with the crumble of the bloodline? First match of night 2.
I think they're still toying with that. I honestly do.
Yeah.
I think they're still toying with that.
First match of night 2 is KO and Sami Zayn versus the Usos, and that's the domino.
That's not a bad idea.
I think they're still toying with that.
That's not a bad idea. And
there's a falling out backstage after the Usos lose, and it's just a snowball effect.
That's not a bad idea.
It seems like after the main event, the second biggest match is open, right? It's kind of like the middle is kind of whatever. But
I think it would save the show, actually, too, because that night 2 low is tough. That night 2 low, it's almost like you have to really stack night 2, because everybody goes balls to the wall night 1. You can have mediocre matches and you're still hyped for night 1 because it's WrestleMania. It happened last year, and then it's just like night 2 hits, and you're just like, night 2's got to hit. As soon as you give us a break where we're like, we're gone.
You realize you've been watching wrestling for 8 hours?
Yes.
Yeah.
It sets in.
It's like night 2. It's like you party hard Friday night, and then night 2, it's like your boys are like, let's go out and drink again. And you're like,
hello? Or you could be Zach and sitting through night 2 with food poisoning.
Yeah. Zach got food poisoning last year at night 2. He almost didn't make it.
When you guys ate at every barbecue restaurant in Dallas, that was going to
happen. It was Jack in the Box.
Zach is the only one who had Jack in the Box. He had Whataburger and Jack in the Box within 24 hours of each other.
There we go.
Yeah.
And I collapsed.
I woke up on Sunday morning and I just was hearing him purl, and I was like, hey, you all right?
We went to WrestleMania Access, and while they were like hand in hand having the best time. I went to the community gaming area and I fell asleep in the armchair that I had next to the people playing the new 2K game. And I said, just come back to me when you're done.
I did a Brock Lesnar entrance. Teddy and I commentated the match, and Zach's asleep. Like, hey, you guys have fun?
I felt so bad though. I felt terrible for him. But I think that's great. I think if you this is how you make night 2 a killer show. You start off with the bloodline. You have midway in the show, you have the Hell in a Cell. Up towards the upper echelon of the card, you have the triple threat. and then you have that women's match, that woman fatal 4-way match, and then you have with Cody and Roman. That's a stacked night too, and I think night 1 can hold its own still. Because what's on night 1 after that?
You do all that, and you bought a ticket to night 1. You're gonna be pissed. You just took everything.
Well, night 2. Listen, night 2 should have been you should get the 2-day pack. Who goes to just one night?
Oh, there was a good amount of people that did.
And in that, if you just go to night, but here's the thing, Stone Cold is probably going to be on night 1 for LA Knight. We might see Stone Cold. Stone Cold's probably going to be on night 1. What else is there? Ray and Dom is a good story. John Cena is on night 1.
Yes, he's open.
John Cena's on night 1. Ray and Dom is on night 1, most likely. Got Rhea and Charlotte. Bianca's a heavy hitter. Kids love Bianca. A lot of kids are there to see Bianca. Bianca's the second coming of John Cena.
Yep.
So you got 2 John Cenas on night 1. You'll have the men's fatal 4-way match, which we're talking trash, but let's act like it's not going to hit.
It'll be it's the same as last year, essentially. The same fatal 4-way match.
Montez Ford is a beast. Street Profits are a beast. The Viking Raiders are good, and Ricochet's a freak athlete. And Braun Strowman's going to run around the ring, and we're gonna cheer for it.
And then there's the Strowman Express.
So I think the show night 1 can carry itself, and you probably do have to put one of those matches on. You probably have to put one of those matches I said on night 1, just to really
I feel like Edge and Finn might be a night 1 thing.
I heard that. I thought I heard that.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be night 1. I'd be surprised because Edge likes to be night 2, but if you put that on night 1, then yeah, and I think it's a well balanced card. You still have 3 solid ass matches. You have the 2 bloodline matches, and then you have the triple threat on night 2, and that's a solid night right there. That's a solid night.
I also don't think both women's matches will be on the same night.
They probably won't. They probably won't.
That would be dumb if they did that.
We'll probably have Bianca and Asuka somewhere scattered in there on night 2.
People won't be happy with where that's placed, but
where are you gonna place it? There's no build.
That's what I'm saying.
There's been there's no build. There's more build. If you turned around, there'd be more build if you turned around and had Carmella versus Bianca. If you turned around and said this is actually the match we're gonna do, that would have more build.
Yeah, because Carmella's actually been talking shit for a month.
Exactly. So let's before we head out of here. I know we want to do another thing, but it's getting quite late, and I know we all have curfews. Let's run through this show card real quick. Let's see what we got here. What is it? Oh wait. So yeah, there's another match that we didn't talk about at all. Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul. That's another. And honestly, that match card I gave you could easily be a night 2 because you could put Brock Lesnar's still an attraction, whether it's a good match or not. You can put him on night 1, and you can put Seth Rollins and Logan Paul on night. Still a hell of a card that's going to get us moving for night 1.
Yes.
You know what's crazy? We've been talking for how long? And you said we didn't touch on Theory and Cena. True. We didn't touch on the actual main event. There's just this 2 nights is loaded. It's absolutely loaded.
You got a good point, man. Holy crap.
We didn't at all.
About Theory and Cena.
And I'm not saying you have to, but that's just how crazy.
An hour and a half we've gone without mentioning 2 huge matches is a fair point.
We briefly touched on Roman and Cody, not much, only for shit on Cody because he's not a Cody fan. I think I'm the only Cody who was rooting. I was Team Cody the whole time. Well, you were Team Sammy, Garrett.
Well, yeah, but those 2 things can coexist. I believe that they've done a good job with Cody, but Sammy, my brain understands why Cody is the person, but my heart wanted Sammy in Montreal.
Yeah. Hey, my heart wanted Drew McIntyre and Sheamus also in Clash of the Castle.
That was a thing before. Sammy wasn't a thing when that was going on.
Correct.
Yes, my heart
Correct.
Well, because then we were all looking at it who's gonna beat him then? If he
that's what we said.
Yeah, we were like, there's no way he's walking into Mania with 2 belts. And lo and behold, he's walking into Mania with 2 belts.
He might walk out. I don't know.
I said he might walk into 40 with 2 belts.
That's what I'm saying. He could.
Well, rumor has it that they're going to split them up by SummerSlam, split the belts up, and then they can sit me. I would love to see Big Gold come back, but I don't think it fits in this generation.
Triple H does not like the Universal title and is toyed with replacing it with Big Gold.
Who does like the Universal?
I like it better than the red one.
I do too. Well, it looks good with Roman. That's it.
You're never listen. We all Big Goal is my jam, Winged Eagle, but they're not changing the belts. They are not changing the belts. Look at when Patrick Mahomes wins the Super Bowl title and he's walking around with the WWE belt on his side,
fair.
and it's a free advertisement for their logo. They're not changing it. It's not happening.
You can at least change their second belt. You don't have to change the WWE belt.
It's not happening. Their logo is front and center on it. It's from a marketing.
But when Cena had his spinner, the logo was right there too.
No, but it was saying now, like marketing wise, it doesn't make sense to go back.
I get it.
Yeah.
But I also think those belts are so popular right now that you can still give it to them, and it doesn't need to be the accurate representation of the world title looks like at the moment.
So I am the biggest Big Goal fan. We've talked about this before. I'm the biggest Big Goal fan there is, but like
I don't know. I'm a pretty big Gold fan. I'm a pretty big fan.
We were to know because back when we were supposed to be working and we were talking about which wrestling belt you were going to buy, I was trying to get you to buy Big Gold, and that was not your first pick.
You were going to get the spinner.
No, I said I was going to get you the spinner with Big Gold, but Big Gold was always my first one. This is how you know Big Gold was my first one, because Fred got me a gift, and he went with Big Gold because he knew it was my favorite. And then Garrett goes, what did he say? He goes, is that a gift or was that a proposal? Was that a proposal? I was like, honestly, if Fred proposed to me in that moment, I'd have said, hell yes. Then I would have cried. That would be the best proposal. To propose to me with the Big Gold belt,
that's better than a ring any day. But listen, I'm the biggest Big Gold fan there is. Unfortunately, I try to imagine it on TV and on the stars of right now. It's retro. It's we love it, and I think it will not look good on TV. It's not. I even look back to when it was playing in the early 2000s, and I look at it, I'm like, man, it looks dated. I think it's awesome.
I think its last good run was probably 08. So the last two people to look really good with that title was Taker and Batista. Batista, picture perfect. Batista with that belt.
You didn't like King Booker?
It's not going to look good. It's not going to look good on today's superstar. It's just it's a weird thing. It's just it's.
That's what I was saying. I don't think it fits with these guys today.
Well,
I don't think it fits.
You mentioned that people not CGI, but Photoshop pictures of Cody Rhodes with the winged eagle. I'm like, that looks so bad. It just
you think so? I think it looks good on him.
I don't think so.
It's retro. It's retro, and it's not come back. I don't know. It's just it'd be like if you showed up in bell bottoms. Yeah, dude, those were awesome in the 70s. And I love it. I freaking love it. Trust me.
Yeah. I think my favorite is the Big Eagle belt, the Attitude Era WWE title. That's one of my favorites, and that's another one I'd love to see back. But yeah, I don't think
that thing was so damn ugly.
I love that thing. I don't know. I'm not a fan of circle titles either, but I like that.
Let's cover those three matches that we didn't talk about real quick, and then we'll let everybody go.
Yeah.
I said to Chick, I think John's gonna win. Why else would you have him start off and this is the problem, thinking logic, but why else would you have him start off the show? Are you really gonna start WrestleMania with children crying because John lost?
He can't win. I think you do that early because it doesn't matter how people start. You have to go home happy, right? And their goal every night is for them to go home happy. That's why Cody's gonna win, and that's why if they put Sammy and KO at the end of night one or close to the end, they're gonna win. People need to leave happy. They're not gonna remember what happened 4 hours before. If you bury Austin Theory, who is essentially the future, I guess, for what? So that someone can come the Monday after Mania. He isn't going to commit to anything long term.
I've always forgotten about the beginning of this show. When they play highlights, I was like, oh shit, that happened earlier. Yeah, you forget about it.
Well, and quite honestly, someone has to retain, right? I mean, we can't have a 2-day WrestleMania where nobody retains any belts. Someone has to retain.
I really do think it is Theory. I've said that for weeks. I was like, damn, Cena's going to come in here and squash him. Then I thought about it. I was like, that doesn't make any damn sense. Austin Theory, he's another one that's getting legitimate heat right now. He's damn good at what he does. And I think he's been calling out Cena for a year. I think he's going to, like you said, he's going to make kids cry to start off WrestleMania 39.
Fred likes him. Fred likes Theory.
I do too. I liked him before you did.
I don't like him, so there you go. But
I liked him when he still was Vince's baby. I got it.
Fred goes, I like that girl right there. He keeps calling us Theory a girl.
He's transformed. He's completely transformed, though. I mean,
yes, I respect him now. I respect him. Yeah. I respect who he's become. How do we think this match is going to go? Do we think we're going to get a good match?
Yes.
I don't know how invested John is in like a long match. You got 10 minutes maybe. And
I think it'll be good enough for that 10. I think Theory will
I think
carry
it's
a
also
lot of
good
it.
10.
I mean,
He needs to do
Jesus.
something with his outfit though. Like those jorts, they look like they're hanging off of him.
You
Like,
can't
it's
get
like-
rid of the jorts, Teddy.
He also had like cargo shorts for a time period that fit him better. Like he puts the jorts on and it's like, John, I don't know. John looks old with the
We
jorts on.
need
He
the
looks
jorts
older.
with the American flag on the ass pocket, or else it's not Cena.
No, I think Theory goes over in a dirty way, right? This isn't
Yes.
a passing of the torch where he like holds up Theory's hand. I think it just cements Theory as the top heel
Yep.
on Raw moving forward. Has to be.
I said this to Teddy. I think Theory's going to win, and it's going to launch the U.S. title into another stratosphere. And I think it's Braun Breaker, because Carmelo Hayes, I think, is taking NXT title and going to run down there for a bit. But I think Braun Breaker shows up and challenges Theory on Monday after Mania.
I think either one, whoever loses, shows up because I can see Carmelo Hayes winning and then reforming the Hurt Business and him holding that U.S. title. I think that'd be pretty good. Because to be honest with you, I said this. I like Braun a lot. I do, and I think he'd be great if he came up. But I do think Carmelo is more prepared to be on the main roster than Braun Breaker is.
I also think they've elevated those mid-card titles past the point of like a fresh new face coming on to challenge. Like, Braun Breaker can't just step in. That's essentially like the Raw World title at this point, right?
It is right now, yeah.
So Braun comes in and like declares a match. Like, dude, get in line, bro. Seth Rollins was fighting for this title. Like,
Bobby Lashley was fighting for this title. Like,
I think it's going to be a situation where he's like, I beat Cena. You think he's the greatest champion ever. I'm going to start my own open challenge, and that's what's going to happen.
Could be that. But then for the new guy to beat him, it's like, yeah. I see what your point here, Garrett. It's like, you just beat John Cena. You got it. You better go on a tear after this. You better go on a tear. Zach, what you got for me, buddy?
I think that Austin Theory gets an easy win. I think, like you said, it's not going to go on too long. I do agree that Cena lately looks a little goofy with the big shorts and the bald spot. But I think it goes quick, and then they move on, and then they go to probably Seth and Logan Paul, which is honestly going to be my bathroom break for whatever night.
I think that'll be good. I think that's a
I think it's going to be a good match.
Yeah, I just, whatever. He doesn't do it for me. I see why, they want to push him on the thing, but it's not for me. So that'll be my hopefully 10 to 15 minute chance to keep the crowd in the bathroom and maybe come back with a snack.
What do you think? Match 2? Match 2, I got to go to the bathroom and get a snack.
10 minutes in, you need your break. You're in for a long rest of the night.
Yeah, I still got 3 hours left.
My bladder's not what it used to be. Listen, that's a good segue. I'm a big fan of how Logan Paul has been dropping Seth Rollins. I'm like
he's going to lose.
Logan Paul goes, man, you got a weak jaw. And I was like, yeah, like, what's going on here? He's just like, I was like, Seth's got a glass jaw. He's just been taking these punches. Like,
they're taking him for granted that he can continue to take losses and be relevant because he's amazing. But at a certain point, people are going to look and be like, Seth hasn't won a match in 4 months. Like, how is he credible? I mean, I'm with Zach. I couldn't care less about that match at all. Like, and Seth is amazing, and Logan he's talented, but what does it do for the bigger story unless the Paul family is going to play a big role in the WWE moving forward?
Jake said he wants to get into it, so that's going to be interesting how that plays out. I honestly don't want him in it.
They're walking a tightrope with Seth. Like, Seth needs to do important things, right? Yes. And they're just taking for granted the fact that, like, if Seth's involved, it's important. Yes, but you need to put him in important things. Like, we're talking about, he ends a feud with Riddle that goes nowhere and not by his fault. Now he's feuding with Logan Paul. It seems beneath him.
Oh, it totally
Didn't he lose that feud too with Riddle?
No, he won the fight pit, I thought, right?
No, Riddle tapped him out or passed him out in the fight pit.
Oh.
Yeah. With Cormier showing up with a really tight ref uniform on.
They should have gotten him a bigger shirt. I don't get why they did that to him. There's he's the baddest man on the planet. He looks like Mr. Winslow from Family Matters. That was so bad, man. And then he was smiling and waving. I'm like, he's not a bad... I know who Cormier is, right? But, if anybody didn't, they're like, who the fuck is this guy?
And not that wrestling logic makes much sense, but, on the last AEW pay-per-view, Hangman Adam Page hit Jon Moxley with a brick, and he got back up. But you're telling me Seth Rollins can't get back up from a punch from Logan Paul?
I thought that was interesting, too. Every time I see him get knocked out, I'm like, if Seth loses, that's so bad. I'm a big Seth Rollins fan. He's my favorite current wrestler, and I've been very open about that.
I can't imagine Seth loses. I really don't.
When I found out we actually got Cody last year at Mania, I was so upset. I was like, there's no way he's winning this match. My first time seeing Seth Rollins and he's going to lose. I can't have it again. I can't have it again.
If Seth Rollins wins, I'm going to light a cigarette up right in that arena. And I don't even like cigarettes. I don't even smoke. I've never smoked.
If he loses, you mean?
In that arena. If he loses, that's what I said. If he loses, I'm going to light a cigarette right up in that arena and be like,
he's not winning. He's not winning.
There's no way he loses. There's no way.
Oh my!
You know what type of uproar that would bring in the wrestling community?
I could not disagree more. I'm going to say this. There's no way he wins this match. There's no way. That's me saying I want him badly to win this match, and I think they are greatly misusing him. But from a storyline and big picture standpoint, there's no way he wins this match. I think the Pauls, in whatever stupid way, are going to play a huge role in the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view. And I think this launches Logan to whatever. And if it's like a tag team shot with him and his brother against Sammy and KO, or if it's like a world title shot against Cody or whoever.
But here's the thing, like, people are talking to him. John Morrison just kind of called Logan out. It was just like, everybody's like, yo, he's so good. And he's like, well, he also gets a full
month to train for his matches. Yeah,
he's like, he gets a full month to practice for one match. So I don't know anybody else who gets that. So
his matches are completely rehearsed.
Yes.
They're not talked through during the match. They're not rough outlined. They are completely rehearsed.
Yep.
And he's unbelievable. But I'm sorry, guys, from a storyline standpoint, and it breaks my heart. There's no way Seth wins this match. No way.
Verbatim.
And I think, like you said, it's like they almost rely too much on. Yeah, he'll be all right. We'll just let him lose this one, and then move on, and then whatever they'll put Seth in. But yeah, especially with another big blood money pay-per-view coming up, they're going to want to target Logan and, like you said, possibly his brother to do something. It just sucks that it's at Seth Rollins' expense that he even has to be in this feud, that they couldn't find anybody better to.
I'm putting money down. I just can't see a world where they let Logan Paul.
You name the price. He's not winning. Seth is not winning that. What's the last feud that Seth Rollins won? I mean, like, I'm thinking back.
Why you gotta come at me like that?
No,
I just we know. I know, but I'm just saying, why you gotta give some facts like that?
This is not Seth Rollins' hate. This is not Seth Rollins' hate, because I think that they're misusing him. But lost Cody Rhodes, lost Bobby Lashley, lost Austin Theory, lost Matt Riddle. Gonna lose Seth Rollins. I'm sorry, Logan Paul. What's the last feud that Seth Rollins was victorious in?
I think the only person he actually successfully been beaten.
Rey Mysterio. When he took his eye.
Yeah, Rey's eyeball is still over on the edge of those stairs.
I think he did successfully beat Bobby more times than not, which is, like, I felt bad for Bobby. It was like, damn. Like, that was the tail
end. That was like the beginning of his turn from heel to face. Like, he was still a heel with Bobby, and then after that, he turned to face again.
I can't. If they do, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be pissed.
You're gonna be pissed.
I'm gonna tell you right. That's the most certain outcome of all the matches. I apologize to you. Of all the matches, that is by far the most certain.
I've never hoped you were wrong more in my life. Oh no.
Hey, me too.
Zach, you think this is gonna be? You think he's gonna win too?
Yeah, I think, and I'm not saying that I want that to happen, but I think that Logan just.
Well, I know you. Yeah, I know you don't want it to happen.
But Logan just came off of the loss to Roman Reigns.
I know.
And that's the world champion.
I know, but now they're not going to give him another loss, because then they're not just going to throw him into something else. They got to give him something to kind of boost him back up, even though it is to Roman Reigns.
Why do they boost him up? He's an outsider. He's not supposed to be good.
It's going to put him into a bigger story. That's what it is.
With who? He's in a great story with.
I don't know yet. I don't write the goddamn show. I just have to watch every now and then.
You're right. We won't get heated on this because, like, that's my problem. I go to the logic well too often, where it's just like you just put down your company when you do that. I personally get really offended when celebrities come into WWE and win matches. It's like,
They always do.
This celebrity who's not an athlete just came in and beat this guy who's been doing this for how long? Like, and you want us to put respect on this business. You want real athletes to respect these wrestlers, and yet you got Pete Carroll or whoever the hell,
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose, you got Bad Bunny over here.
Pete Rose never wrestled.
Yeah, you look
Pete Carroll's coaching the Seahawks. Come on.
Well, Kane killed him, right?
Kane used to always beat the hell out of Pete Rose, yeah.
3 WrestleManias in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, but you got Bad Bunny. No offense, Bad Bunny doesn't look like he beat up anybody. Bad Bunny just looks like he
But him and Priest did beat Miz and Morrison.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like.
Is that where they got eaten by zombies? Oh no, that was the next paper.
Yeah, that was the next one.
I
Yeah.
just hate it when when celebrities come in and win matches. I can't stand it.
Don't you talk bad about Johnny Knoxville like that. That match was the best part of night 2.
That actually was the best part of night 2.
I actually didn't like that match.
I had a blast. When Wee
thought it
Man
was too silly.
suplex or slam Sami Zayn, I lost my mind.
But all right, so go ahead.
Yeah, they just know that Seth can survive losing because he's only more popular with the losses, but eventually that's gonna turn and it's gonna be problematic.
I mean, for goodness sakes, they give Drew McIntyre more wins than Seth Rollins. It's like
And Drew is
Drew
goddamn.
McIntyre killed Karrion Kross's momentum. But
people are
let's
done
go on
with
to
him too.
let's go into the main event. Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes. This feels like it did last week, and I think it still does. I think we're gonna get there again. This feels like a huge deal, more than in any previous WrestleMania. It's like a huge deal between two, like a heavyweight matchup, and it feels like a massive deal.
I think it's like the best build story in a long time. Because last year we got Brock and Roman shoved down our throat for no reason. Brock is number 30 in the Royal Rumble and has to go through an elimination chamber. Nobody thought he was going to lose for a single fucking second. And for some reason we got that match again. And then what was it before that? It was Edge, Daniel Bryan, and Roman Reigns, which was also kind of forced. I thought that should have just been Daniel Bryan and Roman, but Edge had to finagle his way in there. But
It was the other way around.
it's like there's something here. We got Cody Rhodes finally winning a championship for his family. Everybody feels that. Grandparents to kids. Kids that like Cody Rhodes, grandparents that watch Dusty. It is this full circle moment that I could fully see them kicking us straight in the you-know-whats, whatever you got. It could happen. I'm very nervous about this
Pops up 1,000 days.
because I want Cody to
I
win.
secretly want 1,000 days, but I really want Cody to win.
I've said it before. I think Cody wins and Paul finds a way to keep the Universal title on Roman for 1,000 days somehow. I don't know how it's going to happen, but like it's so Roman's entire reign has been cheap. Don't give me that.
Yeah, but that's real cheap.
Okay,
That's
but
real cheap.
how did he win the title in the first place? Paul walked in and inserted Roman in the match. That was cheap as shit. I don't want to hear it. Okay, so this is so interesting because Roman could drop it and it could be a passing of the torch, or he could squash Cody and we're all left heartbroken at the end of WrestleMania. Nobody wanted Brock to win last year. We just wanted Roman to lose. That's all it was. But now we want Cody to win, so it's interesting. We want Roman to lose and Cody to win.
I've been Team Cody from the beginning, and I'm here for the match. I just think they need the touch because I'm starting to feel a little fizzled out with it. I just need. I don't know. I don't know if I'm getting swept up in everything else, but I need to see them touch, like to really get me back into it.
Garrett, what do you got?
I love this match. I think they've done an excellent job with the build. I'm going to go against what you're thinking, Teddy. I don't think they need to be physically. I think that's even building the mystique for it even more. And then they're gonna stand in that ring for 4 minutes before they lock up, and the tension's going to be real. And what I really think about this is like, at what point are we going to acknowledge the greatness of Paul Heyman for just carrying these things? I mean, he is incredible.
I've said it multiple times. I think he's the most interesting person in WWE at times.
He's the best. He's the best manager in the history of professional wrestling. Yep. Don't give me Bobby the Brain. Don't give me the Mouth of the South. He's the best. And what he's doing right now. What?
Don't forget Miss Elizabeth.
what he's doing for this story, because while Roman's only partially available, is amazing. And I think Cody's doing a great job too. It's like he's really selling it, and they leaned into the family part for a little bit, and then was steered away from it a little bit too, so it wasn't overplayed. I think this is great, and then I think they're exposing us to Cody, because really a lot of people didn't see him, and then he was gone for 8 months, and I think they're doing a really good job with that. And this match with Solo on Monday is going to only build this more, and I think they're doing an excellent job with it. And what the cards they were given when Sammy was so hot, and it was like it was going to be impossible, and the reaction for Cody was kind of mad because everybody wanted Sammy. They've used Sammy to transition Cody, and now Cody's standing on his own. It was like a really quick transition. I think they've done a phenomenal job. I hope, again, it's all about sending people home happy, and I think the payoff here is that Roman drops.
I love Cody kicked Solo in the face on my last Monday. He goes, "You're not ready, kid." And then when he kicked him in the face, I was like, "Yo, that was so smooth." Like he turned around and just kicked, like he attacked Cody, and Cody just kicked him in the face. That was so smooth.
When he looked at him and said, "I've been you before. I've been the guy standing behind the champion, and I'm telling you, you're not ready." I was like, "Oh damn!" I was like, "You know what you're talking." Cody's ready for the smoke, man.
I'm ready for this promo package.
Facts.
What they're doing such a good job with too is like they're not shooting all their promos, but they're like going up to that line, like, because I think you shoot all the time and you get like MJF syndrome, where it's just like unless you say the F word or you like cut someone so deep you don't get any reaction. Is they're going right up to that line, so you're not getting oversaturated with it. I think they're doing a really good job of that. The promos have been really, really good. I mean, Roman doesn't get enough credit for how well he's developed outside the mic and as a character. And I just think Paul is the glue holding this all together, and he's amazing.
That line Roman hit Cody with, "Whatever your dad didn't teach you, I will." I mean, if Cody shot him at that moment, I'd be like, "Oh well, he had that coming. He had it coming." Like at that point, if Cody just shot him, I'd be like, "Oh, he had that coming." Like,
and then he goes at him and says, "And then you ran away to your own promotion, which you couldn't get over." And I was like, he didn't just say that.
Roman has been laying it into him and just like,
that's spicy.
Man, he's like, "Buddy, I don't know what you think you got yourself into."
I think this is going to be a slow burn build match, though, right? Like, because at the end of the day, like, Roman's in the ring is not great, right? He's got 4 or 5 moves.
Yeah.
Cody, I think can carry it a little bit, technically, but I think
Roman can go though. I think he's been doing that to ignore and like annoy us, to be that slow burn champion. Like, that's like, I'm gonna slow you down. Like he says it as a joke. Like he gets people down and he goes, "I'm gonna sit here all day with my arm around his throat and suck the air out of him because I can." Like he lets us know. I think this match is gonna go a little bit. I think there will be a slow point, but I think it's gonna be explosive and slow. It's gonna be like boom, 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 and then Roman's gonna try to slow it down, but then it's gonna be quick. I think it's gonna go from 60 to 100 real quick a bunch of times.
I think he sucks the air out of it for the first 7 or 8 minutes of it, and like that's the story that he's telling, right? I'm the dominant champ. I'm physically dominant. And I think then it's like Cody has to build in the match, right? I think Roman would have to rip some. But I
can see that.
Cody's walking out with the belts, has to.
I hope so. Zach.
I have been Team Cody Rhodes since day one, but not even just with this. Like when Cody left for Ring of Honor and had that run, and he was doing all the indies and everything, I thought that was like the best thing ever. And I had followed all that. I've been AEW since day one, and it always made me upset that he couldn't like get the crowd behind him as I thought he should have when he was over there. And then they slowly kind of turned on him. So when he came back at our WrestleMania we went to last year, I was like, this is great, because it almost felt like he was welcome back. Mm-hmm. This is what he, I always wanted, that to see after all the hard work he had put into it. And I've just been so behind this whole story, because it's like, I do want to see him win. And I don't care if it's for Dust. I know that's the story they're going with, because I want to win the belt that my dad never won, but I'd rather see him do it for himself. Like, after all your hard work, this is where it pays off. Like, you get to main event, you get to beat the best champion they've had in years and years, and you finally get to show, like, that all your hard work pays off. And I think that that's a good way to look at it.
Some people have been saying that. And he mentioned that people are saying, "Don't do this for you. This is for you." You know.
And they have steered away from the dad angle. Like they were going to steer into it hard, and I think they were reading into it a little bit where it's like, and he's doing it for himself, I think.
Well, he mentioned that in one of his promos. He's like, if another person mentions my dad, I'm gonna throw up. Like, can we please not?
Well, let's just talk about how well Hunter has booked this. Despite his shortcomings that we thought he should have booked this and in directions he went, this podcast has been nothing but positive talk about WrestleMania.
Yep.
And we found ways to spin, like, even, we're just like, regardless, we're like, yeah, well, he could have won with this, but, like, then we're still talking about, like, yeah, well, we're still looking forward to, like, Rhea possibly, we hope Rhea beats Charlotte. But we don't know, because as I call Charlotte, she's the dream crusher.
Yep.
I said it last year. I said it. Charlotte's the dream crusher at WrestleMania. Charlotte wins. Charlotte wins, and I'm here for it. So I don't know. We assume Rhea's going to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Charlotte wins. So it's like, there's still a story there. I mean, the only thing that I think has just hit the ground hard, that is just flopped, there's only one thing I think that's flopped, and I think it's Bianca and Asuka. That's the only thing I actually think on this card that is just ass flopped. I mean, I guess, well, the random women's WrestleMania showcase matches.
That's a pre-show match they throw in there.
To me, that serves a purpose. Like, that's going to be a buffer match. That should be the match right before the main event to give us a buffer between whatever match just hit. Yeah. So, like, that's a purpose match. Like, it serves a purpose. But other than that,
yourself, I might sneak down closer to the ring for a closer look at that match.
Always the comic relief. But I think this is a great card, and I think we got. And part of me does think that someone said, Nikki said that Hunter said he's really trying to book next year really strongly. Some part of me also feels like Triple H doesn't feel like this has been his year. Like, he's like, all right, this is the real start to my year.
He got half a year, basically.
Yeah. He's like, I got half a year. You think this is good? Watch next year. Granted, I didn't get into this because I'm like, I think people forgot, but I'm still holding my breath. Like, I don't know if Vince is going to take back control this next year. Like, Hunter, this may have been Hunter's last shot. Like, this may be Hunter's last goal. Like, yeah, all right, Hunter, I'm coming back. I'm taking the reins. Like, Hunter may not be in control around this time next year. He might even be with the company. Like, I could see Hunter just leaving if Vince takes over again. Like, I could see Hunter just going back down to NXT with Shawn. Because, like, I can see Hunter not leaving because he doesn't want to leave. Because if he leaves, he knows, like, William Regal's getting fired again. He knows Shawn Michaels is probably out the door. Like, his buddies lose their job.
A third of the roster is fucking fired again.
Like, they solely depend on him. If he leaves, they're definitely gone. Like Samoa Joe said it perfectly. He goes, yeah, well, when the Hunter stepped down because of his heart issue and then William Regal got fired, I knew my pink slip was on the way.
The worst thing for business is Vince McMahon to step in anything other than a business role.
We also don't know who runs the company next year. We don't know who owns it. We don't know what they want.
There's still talk of sales and stuff like that going on. We've booked this as Hunter Mania, and it may be the only one. I hope not.
I heard NBC doesn't want to buy it, so NBC's out of the running, which is Peacock, which we all
I don't understand why they wouldn't want to, but
I don't know who would buy it. I can't. Let's just hope it's not Saudi Arabia.
I think that social ship is sailed. I think they've realized how bad that backlash was. You lose easily 30 to 40, even 50% of your fan base immediately.
You lose a lot of your athletes too. Your females are gonna uproar like crazy.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good. But I think we're at 2 hours, folks. We were rip roaring.
Can I throw in something before I just want to get your opinions quick that I meant to mention earlier, but I'll be quick. I know we're heading out the door soon.
Listen, I don't mind. I just don't want to run you guys late. That's all I'm worried about. I could sit here and talk all night.
So I saw the story going around on Facebook. I think it started with Rey Mysterio, with the fans at the airports with their
Rhea Ripley now is the big thing.
Yes. So the video they came up to Rey, they had the 30 Funko Pops they want to sign, they had the action figures and all this. Now Rhea Ripley is against other people. I don't understand why it's taken so many years for this to finally be something that they're trying to stop. I never understood. I mean, I understand why they're doing it because they want to make money, but the fact that they would allow these people to wait for them at the baggage claim area and wait for them in front of their hotels and at restaurants that they're going to be at with their suitcases filled with stuff just to go back and sell on eBay is just wild. And I know, like, some people in the past have said that they tried to stop it by being like, well, only do it if it's a kid or if it's this. And I remember one of the Undertaker, the kid came up with something for him to sign. The Undertaker asked him, do you know who I am? And he said, no, I don't. And it's like they try to find ways around it. And it's just, it's borderline stalking. Like, I don't understand why it is okay.
Well,
and I know Rhea Ripley had said no, and then they still followed her to the thing and were telling her almost like it's your obligation to sign because you're famous and you owe it to us. And
she even went as far as saying she's not signing anything that is not a picture of her and the person asking to sign. She's like, I'm not doing it anymore because people are crazy and they don't care about the merch. All they do is sell it. Like, she's like, if you care about it and you like me and you have a picture with me, I will, and you're a fan, I will absolutely do it. But anybody else can fuck off. Ray got actually, like, aggressive with that guy because he was like, no, you can't use this pen. You have to use this one on this one, and you need to sign this. He's like, no, bro. He's like, you asked me to sign like 40 things. He's like, this is why I don't do it anymore. He's like, I only used to do it for kids and everything, and now you guys are getting crazy. Like, I'm not. You're pushing me to do something I don't want to do. Just not sign and be there for my fans anymore.
As Teddy knows, a gentleman who I will not name that we went to high school with, you know, I would talk to about, hey, you know, I go to these meet and greets, you can actually sit and talk to them, you get money, they sign stuff. That's the way I think you should do it. He instead would go out behind the arenas and wait by the buses and be like, oh no, bro, they got to walk by me, and jump at them and ask for photos and shoves things in their face with markers and ask to be signed. And isn't that like, I don't understand why it's not something that they've taken care of more in the past.
It's bad.
No, it's aggressive, and what gets me the worst, I think, is when people just follow people and record them, and it's like, I don't like I said, I respect what Zach does. He goes and he pays and he goes and meets them. But for me, I've always said it's like, I also don't, that's not my thing because it's like, I don't know, I'd rather just like, I don't get enough time with you. Like, I don't know, I'm not gonna pay money to meet. Like, I'd rather just like if I could sit down and just like, hey, I really appreciate everything you've done, and like I watched you growing up in wrestling and ask you a couple questions about wrestling, like then that's cool. Like, you know, like other than that, it's like I've never been one for like the meet and greets. Like what I do, like for me, like unless it's a joke, like Zach goes and gets like, I'll go to a meet and greet to get a signing for Zach as a joke, or I'll do a cameo for Zach as a joke because Zach has sent me a couple funny cameos. But like to me, it's just like, you know, I also find it really rude. Like, you're just running. Like I'd probably like, I don't like people like that. So I don't want you on my face. As much as I seem like a positive guy, if I really don't know you, I don't want to talk to you. Like I just don't want to talk to you. So I can't imagine me bombarding someone and like, hey, sign this for me, or getting in your face and talking to you while you're trying to go to the bathroom, you're trying to go to a restaurant. Like, I don't like being like, I avoid people that I know at grocery stores because I don't want to stop and talk. I can't imagine trying to go anywhere and then seeing fans and not want to like go to I don't go to like whenever I'm home, I don't go to the Hannaford around the corner because I'll run into somebody. So I was like, I'd rather not. I'd rather go somewhere further where I won't run into. I could go into the store, grab something in peace, and leave. I feel bad. And I do think it's kind of intrusive and just aggressive. And like I said, pay the money, we'll get the signing, and hopefully they'll talk to you.
I DM'd Sasha Banks. She didn't message back, but she opened it.
Oh my God, Gary, you never heard this story. Zach and I were standing in there for meet and greet, and Sheamus and Sasha Banks, whatever. Some dude standing next to us goes, "I DM'd Sasha Banks," and she read it. I go, "Did she reply?" He goes, "No, but she read it," and I was like,
"Good for you." So she saw it and decided to ignore you. Good for you.
I said in my head, I said to Zach, I said, "That's something you keep to yourself."
That's an inside thought right there.
There was one not too long ago where I was in line waiting, and the lady in front of me was talking about, she was like, you know, I get to see Jeff Hardy today, and I actually, you know, I reached out to him, I DM'd him, and I said, listen, you're going through some hard times, I get it, and if you need someone to talk to, reach out, message me. And the guy goes, it's amazing. What did he say? And she goes, oh, he read it, but he didn't answer back. But I know that he knows now. He's got me to turn on, and they were like, "That's really nice of you."
I actually wonder if anyone even reads them. Like, there's no way they read them.
A lot of them have social media managers. A lot of them don't see that stuff.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, even a social media man, like, why would you, like, random DM messages from obviously fans? Like, why would you even read them?
Clear the notification, get it out of the way. Probably that's probably the only reason you'd open it.
I guess I'm a little different. I got like 100 unread messages in my messenger, like in my regular text message.
That drives me nuts. I can't do that.
They just sit there. It doesn't bother me. There's like 100 something. Like I just there. Bother to go through and look at them.
Well, hey, anybody
That's
got
my
any
text messages? Not even my DMs. That's my text messages.
Anything else anybody wants to bring up before we bring this wonderful
well, we didn't get Garrett's
opinion
on the meet and greet side.
I'm too old for autograph culture, so I'm with you. Don't bother them. Listen, just they don't owe you anything other than to entertain you when they're doing their job.
That's it. They're doing their job. They have days off like us. Yeah, like we don't want to run into students at the damn supermarket. We don't want to talk to students' parents after our hours. We don't want a parent holding us up after a track meet or a wrestling meet, talking to hours about their son.
They do it anyway.
But, exactly. Yeah. They don't want to see us, especially not as Zach and I relate to it as the wrestling family.
That's your family, Zach.
There's some interesting people there that I wouldn't want to ever see. I wouldn't want to see them during the day at a supermarket. I wouldn't want to see them at night in an alleyway. I wouldn't want to see them ever.
It's still real to me, damn it! Like those guys. That's one of my favorite videos of all time. It's just like this indie show, and this guy's crying. He's like, everybody says wrestling's fake, and they keep making fun of me, but it's still real to me, damn it. And he's like breaking down. And I was like, this is crazy.
No, I didn't even know they were filming it.
Wait, did you guys ever watch the 90s classic starring David Arquette, Ready to Rumble?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
David Arquette's, he's out there wrestling nowadays. Did you know that?
Wow.
I saw him wrestle Jerry Lawler at a show in Poughkeepsie at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center.
What dark times when David Arquette was a WCW champion that I really don't want to talk
about. And that's why they lost. They have people like David Arquette as their champion. Another thing, celebrity people winning championships, like, oh. Let's see.
Well, hey, gentlemen, what a show. What a time. It's been a long one. Thanks, everybody that's hanging out. If you're watching on YouTube, if you don't subscribe, I don't know what you're doing. Make sure you comment. Let us know your opinion. I like to hear and read that stuff. I get bored. I like to laugh at your dumb opinions. If it's cool, I'll bring it up next show. If not, I just laugh at it. It's fine. I love you guys anyway. It doesn't matter. We're signing off. Thank you guys so much. We had a blast today. We'll catch y'all next week. Garrett, we hope to have you on sometime again soon. Zach, as always, it's a pleasure, man. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.